video is going to cover Objective 3.3 practice tasks. The first step asks you to open the campaign expense summary query in Design View. Then add a total row to the query and summarize the amount spent field by using the sum function. So to add a total row, you're going to click Totals, and then where it says Amount Spent, you click after Group By, arrow's going to pop up, and you're going to choose Sum. Then to complete the next step, we're going to add the amount spent field again to show the other two functions. Add it twice, and then you're going to have in this one is going to be min, and in this one you're going to do the max function. So now amount spent, the total is reflected, the minimum and the maximum. And then from the marketing campaigns table, add the campaign budget field to the query. Then save the query. Now it says to hide, oops, I skipped a step. Create a calculated field that divides the amount spent field by the campaign budget field. Create a label for the calculated field named percent of budget. Use the query property sheet to apply the percent format to this field using 2 decimal places. Now I'm just going to check this against my results file because I'm not 100% sure how it wants this calculated field to appear as far as the fields go. So I'm going to double click the results field, or results database, and we are opening up the campaign expenses query. So it has sum, min, max, which is what I had previously. And then this is where it wants the percent of budget field created. So you're going to right click in this field, and we're going to hit zoom. And I'm actually just going to go ahead and Control C and copy this formula from here rather than typing it back out. But you can see the new field is going to be called percent of budget. And what it's doing is it's dividing the amount spent. And the fields are always going to be in brackets whenever you create an expression, divided by another bracket, campaign budget bracket. So I'm going to hit cancel, then I'm going to minimize this, and then in my new field over here, now this has amount spent, campaign budget. I'm just going to double check this. Amount spent. And see, campaign budget's over here on the right. So it never said to move it as far as I remember, but we'll look at that. So I'm going to right click here and hit zoom, and then paste, hit Control V to paste this information in here and hit OK. Then I'm going to click on this field, just get a little black arrow above here and drag it to the left, so that way it's to the left of campaign budget, and then it's matching the results file. And then I'm still in this field, and then I'm going to go up here to format, and I'm going to go with, double check my results file, percent. And then once I choose percent, it does say that it should have 2 decimal places. So I'm just going to hit run and see what pops up, and I already have 2 decimal places by default, so there's nothing you need to do to reinforce those 2 decimal places. Then we're going to hide the campaign budget field and then run the query to display the results. So I'm going to hide the campaign budget field by unchecking the show box, then run it, then save and close it. So I'm going to hit Control S, close out of that query, then open the expense details query in Design View. Add a total row to the query and select the sum function for the amount spent. So I'm going to add the totals row, and then the amount spent, I'm going to choose sum. Then using operators, add criteria that returns expenses records after 10/15/2016. So expense records is going to be, this should be under date purchase since this is a date. And in the criteria, if you want it after a certain date, you're going to use greater than. So shift period 10/15/2017, 2016 for the categories production and consulting, excluding records for the United States. So I'm going to double check this with the results file again just to make sure that I'm entering the information in correctly. I have an idea of what it wants, but I want to make sure that I'm not missing something. So expense details. So I'm going to go into the results. I'm going to close out of the query that I'm currently in and open up the expense details. And then here, this is where country, you're going to use this operator to return USA, and then expense type criteria is going to be production or consulting. And those fields, you do not need to type in the quotes. It should return the information based on, it'll automatically add those quotes in for that information. So let's go to our regular file, go to create, go less than, greater than, USA, and then expense type is going to be production or consulting. And you can always widen these fields as well here to see the information that you have typed in. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit run, and I have 8 records returned. And I'm going to go ahead and look at the result file and hit run, and I have 8 records returned, so those are correct. This completes objective 3.3 practice tasks.